Good evening and welcome to the CBS 6 News at 7 o'clock. I'm JT Fetch. And first tonight, as the Trump administration targets diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, New York's Attorney General is firing back with new guidance for DEI in the classroom. AG Letitia James is reminding educators that DEI efforts cannot be rendered illegal by an executive order or letter from the U.S. Department of Education, since those efforts do not change the law. The AG says schools are well within their legal rights to continue to building what she calls inclusive learning environments for colleges in particular. James says the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle diversity initiatives is a misinterpretation of a Supreme Court ruling. The Trump administration has moved to cut funding for DEI across the federal government. AG James's guidance is in partnership with more than a dozen other states, including Massachusetts and Vermont. Continuing coverage of the governor's distraction-free initiative and efforts to restrict cell phone use in schools. Starting next school year, the governor wants every student to be required to disconnect from devices during school hours. Several local districts have been using lockable storage pouches from the company Yonder to keep the devices away from students. In a series of Crisis in the Classroom reports, we've outlined the concerns from officials and school administrators over smartphone use during the school day, with social media's negative impact on mental health and the device's disruption to learning being the key worry cited. We spoke with a professor at the University of Pennsylvania about the growing trend of banning phones in schools.
This conversation about phones in schools can't just be about restrictions. It should also be about education. And I think students have to learn digital literacy and online safety and emotional regulation in the digital space. So schools should ask themselves, do we have a curriculum to provide digital literacy for our young people first?
And Dr. Patton says if schools don't have a program on digital literacy, they should partner with nonprofits such as Harvard Center for Digital Thriving to develop a curriculum.